everybody, welcome back to the Utini Update, your one-stop shop for Star Wars news and Star Wars community news. My name is Eric, and this week we have so much to talk about. The Acolyte had its big finale, and Leslye Headland talked about what might be coming in Season 2. We got some Skeleton Crew merch leaked from somewhere you might not expect. We got book news, including the rumor of an upcoming novel that isn't announced yet. And finally, Star Wars Outlaws released a ton of info about its brand new moon. So hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't, and let's jump right into it. Last week, the Acolyte had its big Season 1 finale, and there were a ton of surprises, but none bigger than the cameo of Darth Plagueis himself. We did release a big video last week about what you need to read after the Acolyte, but the number one recommendation is, of course, Darth Plagueis by James Luceno. We can't promise that all that story will be brought into canon, but if you haven't read that book yet and you've seen the series now, you have got to jump in to see what's going on with the Sith Lord. Leslye Headland also did a big interview with Inverse, talking about how much she loved the first season, about how Darth Plagueis was always in the show from jump, and she even talks about some of the stuff she didn't get to put in the season that might be in a potential Season 2. She talked about talking with Pablo Hidalgo and other people at Lucasfilm about other High Republic characters, and it just makes me want that second season to be confirmed as soon as possible. Manny Jacinto was also on the Acolyte interview train, talking with GQ about his love for Filipino fighting styles that inspired The Stranger, and he also talked to Vulture about the fact that he memorized the choreography so well because he actually couldn't see when he was wearing the helmet. Links to all of those, of course, are in the description down below. Now, for Star Wars book nerds, Timothy Zahn is a massive figure, and this week he was at the 605 Pop Culture Con. He goes to a lot of these, but for the first time, he got to meet his own creation. That's right, he met Lars Mikkelsen, who plays Thrawn in Ahsoka. So the creator of Thrawn got to meet actual Thrawn in real life, and then later on in the weekend, Mark Thompson, who voices Thrawn, joined the two, so it kind of was a Zahn, Thrawn sandwich, and it's just really cool to see people that create these characters meet them in the real world. Now, in other Star Wars TV news, a couple weeks ago, we saw our first look at Skeleton Crew thanks to a Lego set. Well, this week, a Twitter user by the name of The Acolyte Alex found a banner including the Skeleton Crew cask in a basket market. So this looks pretty official to me. There's all the characters, there's all the kids, but it is an image we have not yet seen. So I don't know what Skeleton Crew's guerrilla rollout of their merch is by just putting it in leaks here and there, but hopefully we get some official stuff soon. But in the meantime, I guess keep an eye out because it's out there in the world. Now, for all of us Star Wars book lovers, we got a couple cool things this past week, including the Penguin Random House World's website putting up a placeholder image for a, quote, Untitled Star Wars adult novel coming out on May 6, 2025. Now, Star Wars releases around May the 4th, of course, aren't any surprise, but what could this possibly be? Now, Charles Soule's Trials of the Jedi High Republic novel doesn't have a date yet, but that might be a little late, so this could be something original that maybe gets announced at the Comic-Con panel later this month. Either way, we'll keep our eyes open, but we love seeing these placeholder images just to let us know that something is coming down the pipeline. In the world of reference books, we got some new pages from the Bestiary book, Volume 1, that is coming our way this November. We had heard about this novel a little while back, but now we got some really cool detailed looks at the pages, including the massive table of contents. This thing is going to be huge and covering all kinds of Star Wars creatures, so if you're a fan of the reference books from Insight over the years, they have been spectacular. This is definitely one you want to put on your list coming out near Christmas. And for all you Star Wars comic lovers, we got an announcement of the new era. Now, Star Wars comics for the last couple years have been taking place after A New Hope, and then they took a break. They're taking place after Empire. Now they're going to take a break and pick up after Return of the Jedi starting in October. We got this really cool image of a burned Vader helmet showing us that the new era is going to be starting. Hopefully, this means we're getting characters from like Alphabet Squadron, Aftermath, all people leading up to the Battle of Jakku, which is one of the most action-packed times in Star Wars that we really haven't seen in a few years. This also came on the heels of the announcement of an Ewoks 4-part series that takes place right after the Battle of Endor, so we'll get a little more Ewok love, which is never a bad thing in my book. And finally, IGN first continued their coverage of Star Wars Outlaws by taking us behind the scenes of the creation of the new moon, Tashara. Now, this moon is brand new to Star Wars Outlaws. This is a savanna moon. They talked about how the winds kind of shape the atmosphere and environments and gave us a lot of looks at just how much thought is going into this game. I mean, the directions of the winds affected the wildlife, which affected the settlements, which affects what the buildings are made out of that you'll be walking through. And it's really cool to see the creators of the game thinking this much not only about the gameplay and how it works, but also about the lore that they are putting into the Star Wars universe. Because as we know, every project that introduces a new planet, a new character, a new piece of Force lore is going to be dissected by us for years to come. And they're ensuring that Tashara carries on that legacy like Tatooine, Hoth, or anything else. And speaking of Tatooine, we also got a video of a full 10-minute side mission where you go to get a Sarlacc tooth for a couple of Jawas. And again, it's a very cool video that shows you cuts here and there, but mostly an uninterrupted mission, so you can kind of see what the gameplay is going to be like for Outlaws when it comes out later in August. And the more videos that come out about this game, I sound like a broken record, but I seriously can't wait. Everything looks fun. There's a lot of in-depth stuff about the traversal that Kay's going to go through. And again, if you want to know more about how the game is being made, check out the Tashara video, check out the side mission, and just get excited for August to get here. And my goodness, that is all we have for this week. We had Acolyte, we had Skeleton Crew, we had books, we had Outlaws, and so much more. Even though the Acolyte is done, there is still so much to love about being a Star Wars fan. So keep enjoying it, keep your eyes open. We'll be back next week. And until then, may the Force be with you.